It's a wonderful opportunity for us to have His Holiness the 17th Yalwang Karmapa, Agyan Trinley Dorji. He is the head of a 900-year-old tradition, and he's a guide to millions of Buddhists around the world. He's 28 years old, and my mother just saw him and said, "You're looking much older than last time I saw you." He escaped from Tibet in 2000, and that has made it possible for all of us to have the benefit of his presence and wisdom and thoughts. He's a scholar and a meditation master. He's also a painter, a poet, a songwriter, and a playwright. These are activities that the Karmapas over the centuries have also embodied. In particular, he's an environmental activist and very involved in India and throughout the world in our environment. And we're very, very fortunate to have him with us today.
Your Holiness, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us today. The kids have been learning a little bit about your philosophy, and they have some questions they'd like to ask you. So I'd like the 6 student council members who are going to be asking questions to come. We have chairs for you here, kids, and your questions are on the seats.
I usually consider the planet to be a living system. I think of it like the Mother Earth. And so when we say the Mother Earth, this means like one system with all of our lives. And so in this way, since we can also think of it as being a loving, gentle goddess. And so when we think about it in this way, we see that it's a single system where we're all dependent upon each other. And in this way, we are all important and all sacred.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How can we help each other change the world to make it more equal and peaceful? Do you have any activities or ideas you do that we could try?
Wow. Bena aso sam gaba chungbi mina bena aso samlo nyamba tu san gabi ngure dana si dongye chungbi na samlo dongye chung ngure bena si sosu yebna si mishida samlo dewa den de dongye chende jigo yin bin zang an samlo jigo yin bin du xi xia gua de zhanyang bu du xi xia gua de ke shi sha de an dana singi 소소 배나 가서래. 이제 자냐면 두시 송배 토안에 애니메이션다기 대화요 아체도 아주 배주시하다 동에서 돈 배주시입니다. 시베 주도선.
I think that we are all the same because when we feel pleasure, when something makes us happy, then we're glad about it. And when we feel pain or difficulty, then we all cry or we're upset about it. And so we are all the same in wanting to be happy. We're all the same in not wanting to suffer. In this way, we are all equal. And so if we think about everyone as being equal in this way, then I think that if we do things to bring other people happiness and do things to remove other people's suffering, then we can actually accomplish something that will benefit others.
Thank you. Thank you.
What can we do to stop the problem of bullying?
Bullying.
Yeah.
Tough question. 같이 따들이야 아니 심지에 현디 지 가수래 과살이야 라니 샤지人이 변하지 수수익 변 지 가서 녀지 셰서부디 가사디 임비나 가르르 쇼스레 레지 삼로 다치 아주 exchange를 체제 미시다 코스텔리아 수수샤지这段上当明呢this plan 方面的什么东西有这样意思
I think we need to put ourselves in other people's places. We need to think, how would it be if we were the person who was being bullied? And so if we can trade places with other people in this way and put ourselves in other people's positions, then I think this will help us to reduce bullying.
Thank you.
When you get frustrated trying to help the world be more peaceful and you want to give up, what do you do?
Give up.
가서 시대 가서 신변 시 차례남 가서 가서 frustrated 시차나네 대 가서 가려나
Frustrated. Tadi dia that's dangi karu the angles somewhere chomang which is sometimes independent chomang which ni mimang which lia kasre zobli sideo ati ene trasi kasre samba sambu zamayiba that when very urgent we need to thalia 시다지기 가서에 자차변에 단을 차에 인주산 미신다기 소소간에 가비나 미신다기 동에 주다 대조 니준 자자 예버디 아주 삼부 마스타 비비나 안 대주지기 마술이야 아니 가서에 셈리야 뽑아진 토야지당 아니 셈리야 아니 아주 이제 구 가서에 봐 give up cheta memories and this some don't use
I think we can think about this if we look at it from many different angles. There are many places and many things that we want to do to bring peace and happiness in the world, but it's not just a question of having a kind heart or being a good person. When we think about the critical situation that the world is in and the difficulties that everyone faces, then even if we have difficulties ourselves, if we think about the pain and difficulties that other people experience, then I think that this will help us have courage in our minds, and we'll see that there is no way for us to give up.
You are talking in your book about changing the world from the inside out. How can we change ourselves? How does changing ourselves change the world?
이 배랑 아주를 찾아 배나지 그래 소소기 류당아 그런지 넘주를 상못된 거 위나 녀래야 셈리야 ready를 체체 셈리야 and peaceful 더지다 joyful 더지비미나 and 신의 류가 넘주 털리비냐 되는 시 되는 도르성도 다나시 엔 좀블리니야 가자다 좀블리 말다
Something.
그봐
Sure.
and 지 셴펜 주야사르다 제 제비나 다나시 셈리야 change the world 제비나 녀래야 셈리야 요당 and 디토네 셈 요당 비제네 and 가서다 the motivation to get started something motivation 요 치비나 아주 류알 요조레 아주 초알 요조레 초알 요 치비미나 아주 지 제여지 상만 요 치제 and 모두 가서에 점리 차상으로 요로 하지 something motivation
I think that before we do anything or demonstrate or have any expression with our body or our speech, we first have to be ready in our minds. And so if in our minds we are joyful and peaceful, then that will show in the way we use our bodies and our minds. And so I think it is important that we do this. Like if we are trying to help other people, then the first thing we have to change is our own minds. In order to change the world, we have to change our own mind first. And so for that reason, it's important for us to think about our motivation. And if we have a good motivation, then whatever we do with our bodies and speech will reflect that. And it will change the way that we lead our lives. And it will help everyone to whom we are, it'll change everything to which we are connected. And so I think in this way, it will help to change the world as well.
Thank you.
How can you change the faults in yourself?
We have to remember that we're always changing. From every second, we're changing from moment to moment. It's like when the watch goes tick, 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 as it goes tick tock, we also are changing in every second. And so what this means is that every moment, we might have a problem in the first moment, but in the next moment, we have an opportunity to be a new person who doesn't have that fault. We have that choice that we can actually be a new person in every moment. And so in this way, from every moment and in every hour, we have that opportunity to become a new person. And there's no need to keep hanging around with all of our faults.
Thank you.
Last question or something?
No.
Okay.
How do you overcome your anger or calm down?
So when you get angry, you don't listen to what the anger is saying to you. You don't just immediately do what the anger is telling you to do, but instead you sit down and you sort of examine the anger and look at what it's doing and see what is the anger actually doing. And if you do that, then I think that it will just naturally go away.
Thank you. How can we help if we have trouble finding free time?
We have to remember that helping other people isn't something we just do on the side. It's not something extra that we have to do. And so it's important to remember this. If everything that we do, if we have this aim and it's connected with the aim of helping others, then we'll be able to do it. It's everything that we do, all the studies that we do, all the work or whatever you do, if that's connected to helping others, then anything that you do becomes something that helps others. And so I think it's important to remember this. If we make helping others into something that we do on the side, then we're never going to find any time to do it.
Is it possible to care for everybody or love everybody?
I think it is possible for us to love and like everyone, but for us it's a little difficult. And it's difficult because normally we think about our friends and the people who are close to us, and we think about them as being people that we like. And then there are the people whom we don't really like, or the people who aren't our friends, and we don't care so much about them. And so in that way, that's thinking about it as if it's like our individual thing, whom we're individually connected to. But if we think about our own, and if that's thinking about it in terms of our own individual relationships. But if we look at how things actually are, it's different. It's the way things actually are, and then our own individual relationships are a little bit different from each other. And in the way things actually are, whether someone is our enemy or whether someone is our friend, they're all the same in wanting to be happy. And they're all the same in not wanting to be unhappy. And so for that reason, we need to look at how things actually are. And if we do look at how things actually are, then since everyone is the same in wanting to be happy and not wanting to be unhappy, I think that then we can have come to respect and care for one another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How can we be more mindful?
Oh, what?
More mindful.
Mindful. Mindful. This is a mindful game. 가르치기도 그봐. and mindful side 가라서나 그냥 아주 배나 가수에 게임을 제제 수수기 배나 니메직 나눌 제비나 배나 숍에 지당 아주 니메질이야 내가 같이 지금 하고 와래 이면에 니메질이야 아주 3년 남게 초와 쓰는 말 정말 다지 진 요와 같은 쪽에 된 아주 잘 가르치고 디 쿠란 정신 오토매틱 파타 샤마다베 아주 텔레야 미세기 컨트롤 제 텔레야 미세 가르치 plan 르게 소야 말아 세상 아주 디가 mindful side plan 르세 and control 르제 and be 추주엘이야 뭐 간데 샤로도 and 디 셈을 냠 셈자오 그래가 드셔비나 아고도
I think if we had a mindfulness game, then it would really help us. Like a game where if we take a day and we see how mindful we can be. Like, in a single day we'll do many different things. And as we do the many different things, normally the feel... Mm-hmm. And so if we have normally during a day we start and we just do things from morning to the night, and we know what we've done, but we often don't really remember what is it that we felt, how did it go. We just let things go automatically, we let it all go on autopilot, and we don't have any control over what we do, or we don't make any plans for what we do. And so for the mindfulness game, what we can do is in the morning, we can make a plan. And when we make the plan, then we follow that plan. And when we follow that plan, then we could take a white stone or a white token and put it in the mindful column. And you could then take, when you're not being mindful, then you take a black stone and a black token and you put that in the unmindful column. And then at the end of the day, you can keep a score and see how many levels you get through and examine yourself. And in that way, you will know how mindful you are being.
Thank you.
What is a good way to try and help others to change, like stopping the disrespectful people?
Can you repeat?
Repeat it again.
What is a good way to try and help others to change, like stopping the disrespectful people?
Disrespectful people. Stopping disrespectful people.
미구점이쟁이 됐어나 미구점이쟁이 됐어나 파구십제 않았어 다디 serious 가르레데 디 serious 랭교마스 베나 주구점 맞으미나 야 베나 파수수 랜딜이야 지 가르레 고디 수 가자지 구점 맞으미나 디지기 소소의 파티 랜리아 지미지 가르레 take serious 맞으세 지시나 파 구십체 제샤 아니 지 가르레 제물 제지 가르레 디 내가 도나쳐 맞으세 가르레 소소의 샘디 구양부를 제시하나 안 제시나 내가 비기를 써보지 많이 들리면서 하서
Maybe when people are disrespectful, we need to be respectful back. I mean, maybe we just don't need to take it all that seriously. Like when someone is disrespectful to us, then, when we respond, if we respond by maybe not taking the disrespect very seriously and maybe joking around a little bit and actually being respectful in response to this and just not taking it too personally. And we need to think about who is it who they're being disrespectful. Who's the me they're being disrespectful to, and then try to be respectful back and try to be not take it too personally. And if we can do that and let our minds relax and be a little bit more spacious, then I think it will be easier to deal with.
Thank you.
How can we be happy?
대화. 앞에 이제 내랍 샤르스 베나 바바도 베나 녀놈지 가르쳐서나 베나 아주 부드서 이미나 뭐 디기요한데 내랍스도 가르쳐서나 디 용비 준서 가르쳐서나 고수지 이츠미야데 요거에 인사 디준센데네 고 tun다 추추지 베는 녀바 추추 대비나 이츠므로 가래 제상 happiness 가서 instruction 디 그런 명화로 가르쳐서나 이 침버쳐야 돼. 다다 강여버디 가르쳐지 이 침버를 붙여야 돼. 아니 그래서 디게 요하기 자와스나다도 가르쳐야 돼. 메인 포인트를 디 차려 와래. 배는 아주 저 삼단 다들 집에나 아주 르르신 삼단이나 그냥 아주 우단디가 와래. 아주 우단매비나 아주 매ብ찬도래 좀 자요 말에. 드레이주산에 우디 비제면 단디와래 우다디 차겐디 안가줄이야 러싱 좀디와래 제사 티치부로 삼다비나 수수도 som보레도 삼바르 챙겨와래 드레이주산 티치부 가져래 It's quite fun som으로 다디 디고나 디 셈리아지 이츠부르지 수수 som보레도 와서부르지 대 이츠부르지 알았어 대대르지
Actually, I think it's actually very easy to be happy. Like if we think about it, little children are always, it's really easy to be happy when you're a kid. And the reason it is someone gives you something or you get something and you're happy about it. You're satisfied with what you get. So if you're easily satisfied, then it's happier. And so I think this is the real instruction, the real spiritual instruction for being happy is this. It's to be satisfied with what you have. And if you are, then that is the basis of being happy. That's the key point about being happy. And so if we think about it, if you just sort of sit back and think about it a little bit, there's the air that we breathe. And the air that we breathe actually really depends on a lot of different things coming together. And if we didn't have that air, then we'd die. But if you think about it, all the things that bring us air naturally happen. And we can breathe. And then when we think about it, we think to ourselves, I'm alive. And this is a really wonderful feeling that we have. And then our minds can be satisfied about this, thinking, oh, I'm alive. And we can be happy about this.
Thank you.
That was the last question.